Hello and welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. Thank you very much for joining me in today's video, and it has been, a couple of months, I think, since I've last played Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 for a number of reasons. One, just like many other people, I have started experiencing some of the bugs of this game, or this sim, should I say. And secondly, I thought that the Sim Update 1 would actually come out earlier than it has, but it has, on the day that I'm recording this, which is Friday, I think I just read that there has been a delay to it, so it shan't be released for another few weeks, which is perfectly fine by me in the sense of, well, I think it should have been released a long time ago. Personally, I think it probably should have been released before the title was released. I do think that this was released in a rush state after all the bugs. I believe I read somewhere that they were working on some 32,000 bugs, which is quite silly, to be quite honest. But what I thought I would do is, before Sim Update 1 comes out, I want to stress test the photogrammetry. So I am currently sitting on runway 31, is it 31 left? I think this is 31 left, at Kennedy, KJFK, which is probably not where a Cessna should be sitting, but there we are. Just like what I did in Flight Simulator 2020, I'm going to do the exact same here. I'm going to fly around New York, both the city and part of the wider area, so Manhattan Island and the wider area, Brooklyn and that sort of area, maybe around LaGuardia, across perhaps to the Newark area. I shall have a look around that, all of that, and see just how well the photogrammetry is working. Now, 4 years ago when I did this, or 4.5 years ago when I did this in the previous sim, it looked like the day after tomorrow. Everything was a real mess. I really want to see if it's any better. I think it might be, but I'm not 100% certain. So let's go ahead and stress test this photogrammetry and see what we can do prior to Sim Update 1. I should also point out, this has taken me 3 attempts to start this flight up. No idea why. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, track IR is up and running. I am able to look around. View isn't perfect. Oh yes, I keep forgetting that we have an EFB. Let's go ahead and bring the flaps in. Let's go check out, let's actually sit a little bit higher up. There we go. Let's have a look around at New York. Well, New York and then New York City, Manhattan Island. Kennedy itself looks pretty good. I must admit, Kennedy itself does look pretty good. Plenty of aircraft. No liveries I recognise, but there we are. Let's go ahead, and I have no idea what the altimeter is supposed to be here, and I have no idea what the key is for the altimeter anymore. In fact, I'm actually going to go into the settings and find out what the keys are, because I have no idea what the binding is. It used to be B. It has been B for years. And I only just remembered now that this might not... right, what is altimeter? Comma. Y. Can I not use B? Apply to all aircraft. Now what I need to do is search by input and see what on earth B is set to. Increase flaps. Attach drone to net. Okay. Fine, I'll go ahead and set this back to a comma then. I'll just have to remember that. And that hasn't actually asked me whether or not... Right. It didn't ask me whether I wanted that on everything. But fine. Let's go ahead and continue. There we are. Okay. I think I will probably settle myself in about 1,000 feet. There we go. As I said, this is just because this is just a matter of testing. And I'll probably drop the throttle a little bit more as well. In fact, let's bring that down to 2,100. Let's do that. There we go. Bring the mixture out a little as well. And I'll be honest, initial impressions are not too bad. Not too bad at all. So 4 years ago, all of this just looks like a total mess. Now, admittedly, I think my frames are struggling a little in this area, which is fine. This is something I'm working on. I'll improve. I'm sure I can figure out how to improve my frame rate a little with DLSS and possibly just lowering a couple of bits and bobs. But I do think I am fairly alright here in terms of, it's not the best frame rate, but it isn't terrible. Right, what I'm thinking of doing is if I can get the autopilot to, no, actually I'll hand fly. Roads look better. A lot of the buildings do work. The trees still look massive. That's a problem from years ago. And the reason I've done it the reason I'm here in New York is because this is the area that is probably the hardest on photogrammetry as far as I'm aware. So I could have done London, for example, but it isn't as difficult or rough on the photogrammetry. And really, I have to figure out whether or not this bit actually is photogrammetry. I think it is, but you never know. They could have really improved the generation, the auto generation, and this may all just be auto generation. I really do not know. We'll certainly find out soon enough, because if we head into an area of photogrammetry, there will be a marked difference. Maybe this isn't. Even if it isn't photogrammetry, it looks really good. So that is positive. The reason I'm saying that is because I'm looking in the distance at New York City, and everything looks a bit messy. And now I'm slightly concerned. That's LaGuardia right there. So let's go ahead and turn in, shall we? And let's do a short climb, or small climb, up to... Oh, this is photogrammetry. The reason being is I can see some of the trees doing their really horrible, blocky texture things. So I think this is photogrammetry. Let's go ahead and climb to 1,500, shall we? Now I have time, so at 200 feet per minute, we're perfectly all right to do so. Definitely better than 2020. That there looks horrendous, and they still have not fixed that. That is still something that I've seen that problem. I saw that problem 4 years ago. That problem is still there. And this is one of the issues, or probably the biggest issue I have with Microsoft Flight Simulator, is that it isn't so much the case of, oh, there are problems and that they are working on them. But the fact that some of these problems have existed for years and they have done absolutely nothing about it. That is where I have an issue with Flight Simulator. In fact, there should be a bridge in the distance that's completely blocked out. There it is. Still there. Still there. The blocks are still there. Nothing's fixed. However, what I will say is that the photogrammetry in general, or at least the loading speed of it, is much better. At this point in time, all of this should have looked like it had been melted. This does not. It doesn't look brilliant, that there are still problems, but it looks so much better than previously. That bridge looks like, actually they may have fixed that bridge. That bridge was a problem as well, I think. So one bridge has been fixed. Does this bridge not exist anymore? Or was that never? I thought there was a bridge that went across here. Maybe I'm misremembering. Okay, so over New York City proper. Had to climb just a touch more. I've had to climb up to about, well, at the moment I'm at 1,700. I may need to climb up to nearly 2,000 feet, which is fine. I can do that. I will just do a bit of a fly around New York City. That can be perhaps the thumbnail. It does look a lot better. So in terms of loading, improved. Much improved. Textures, well, okay, so previously I couldn't tell with the textures because of the issues that I had. I think this is a decent altitude, apart from the Freedom Tower and the Empire State. In fact, we should just about clear Empire State as well. So this is a reasonable altitude, just wandering around at 1,800 feet. Just slow it down a bit again. There we go. Okay. Now, what was photo mode again? Was it Control V? Shift V? Shift V. Let's have a look around. Yes, see, that does look so much better. It's just that they've got some bridges that are messed up. So in that case, I could potentially forgive them because, well, as I said, stress testing this right now, and I am... Right, how do I actually get the right focus? There we go. Yes, stress testing this right now, and everything is... This is working fairly well. I would say. I would say this is working reasonably well. As I said, there's still some room for improvement, but overall, I would not say that this is too bad. What I will do is underexpose it to touch. I also have to figure out where it keeps these. I think I found out last time, but it's a bit of a messy place that it keeps these. They need to be able to give us an option to select the directory. Should we go check out Statue of Liberty? I think we should do that. So I can just about see it in the distance. So we'll go do that. Then we'll pop over on the Newark side. See what we can see out there. And then perhaps land at LaGuardia. So, okay. There is an improvement. Now, yes, this did take me a while to load in, which is annoying, but once it loaded, it hasn't been all too disappointing. 15 minutes and I can say it does look so much better. What we can do as well, I'll probably change the time of day. Might need to change the weather because it currently has live weather, and I'm concerned that if I change the time of day, will the live weather change with it? And if that happens, am I going to go flying around? As in, I know I'm flying, but is it going to buffet me everywhere and just cause chaos? Small issues there, but I can forgive them for that. I can forgive them for small issues down there. After all, it isn't so much that we're going flying around just to sightsee. Yes, we can do that, which is, you know, a lot of people, maybe people would not be able to visit New York. Maybe they cannot afford to visit New York City and take in all the sights or things like that, and take a scenic helicopter tour or something. So you can do it in the sim and get some semblance of what it might look like, especially if you have VR. Although I suppose if you have VR, you might be able to afford a New York City trip, or yeah, there might be other reasons why you cannot go. For example, I don't know, maybe a disability that prevents you from traveling too far. Say, you know, you live in a different country and you cannot travel too far. Then this is great. It gives you some semblance of it. I know it's there somewhere. There it is. Potentially do a fairly low pass over it. Let's do a low pass over it. Let's really drop the nose. Just control the speed as well. We'll bring ourselves down to... bring ourselves just below 1,000 feet. Okay, this bit is a bit messy. Yes, there is some mess, but they should be able to go around fixing that. Here we go. Maybe I should have used a helicopter for this. It might have been a good idea. 800, I think 800 should do. We'll cruise down the Hudson too. Keep it turning. Keep it turning. Try not to climb. Reflections are still a little awkward, but I mean overall, looking at that, that is not bad. Now, I would not say that that is terrible at all. Still a little bit, there is still a little bit of that, you can see it there. You've got some of that melted effect. Even here, there is some of that melted effect, but it isn't horrific. It does fairly quickly clean up. Okay, let's try and change the time of day, shall we? Concerned about the... Apparently the weather's clear skies. I didn't say clear skies. I said live weather. Why has it done that? This is what I mean. There appears to be some issues with the sim. Okay. These were the problems I wanted to see. They still have those. It just, the lighting is horrendous. Okay, so that has not been fixed in the slightest. So by lighting being horrendous, I mean the lighting on the buildings. It completely takes you out of the immersion of it. Speaking of taking you out of the immersion, switch that off, please. Do not need those. And do not need... Okay, where are the lights for this? I should probably throttle up a bit. Try not to be distracted by lighting. There it is. Not that one. Well, I mean, sure. That's not exactly what I was after. I want the... Right, I want these on. There we go. I want that off. There we are. Okay. Let's climb at full power now. So yes, the lighting is, or the night lights on the buildings are not very good. But, as I said, the improvement to photogrammetry is definitely noticeable. So that's a fairly short video actually. There isn't much for me to comment on the photogrammetry. I was expecting worse, given how many problems Microsoft Flight Simulator has. I was expecting a lot worse. So I am surprised, pleasantly surprised, that I have not had too many issues. Do we really have all those red lights up there? Do they not flash? Maybe? No idea. Yes, overall it is improved but still imperfect. And of course, your mileage could vary, because I've read reports of the fact that maybe one day it works perfectly, and then, or on the same day, and then reloading and it just doesn't work properly. So there is that too, but unfortunately I have not really experienced that. As I said, it took me 3 attempts to load this in the first place. So I don't know how many attempts it's going to take for me to try and get another one loaded. But let's go ahead and land at LaGuardia to end this video. Let's perhaps put it back into some sort of day, so we can have a look at Central Park perhaps. Or slightly earlier there we go. So we get to take a look at Central Park. And LaGuardia is just there. Of course, I'm not familiar with the runway at LaGuardia, so maybe I should have had it so that the lights were flashing as they were a moment ago in the dark. That would have been smart of me. But it's alright. Overall, as I said, it works. It does work. There's the airport. I think I can see the runway. Yes, I see a runway. Now, given that this is clear skies for some reason, I did select real world weather. I just thought this was the weather. Currently in New York. I was like, oh, it's a really nice day. Oh, that's nice. The blinds, or the sunshade, they work really nicely. Now, I know I'm fairly high up, but given what this aircraft is, I will be able to bring this down and land. Hopefully, should be able to land pretty easily. Ooh, bit of lens flare. That's decent-ish. Don't particularly like the lens flare, but I suppose it makes you look like you are wearing glasses, so that's all right. They still have that issue. That hasn't been fixed. So what I think has happened, this is just me thinking, and I might be wrong. What I think has happened is that they have improved the servers, or the server capability, either the bandwidth on the server or whatever, so that the photogrammetry loads. What they have not done is improve the photogrammetry itself. Case in point right there. I probably should look where I'm flying, and right in front of you. So the photogrammetry itself still has numerous issues. What is not a problem, I should just probably go straight down to idle for this. I'll land this at idle. There we go, we should be coming up on the puppy. It's a long enough runway, I shouldn't have an issue. I'm just aiming. I mean, this could potentially be a no flaps landing. Oh, bit of stutter. Always end up with that. Oh, that stutter's going to cause me problems. Yep. Well, we'll just bounce onto the runway. There we go. Wasn't a proper landing, but that wasn't the point of this. Why is the nose? I'll just push the nose wheel down. That's fine. Here we go. Now we can get on the brakes a bit. So there we go. That is that. The photogrammetry for New York. So stress testing it. It is better, but still has its issues. But more importantly than, I guess, the issues, it does load a lot more nicely. Now, if only the rest of Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 would load in any similar fashion. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to click on the like button if you like this video, subscribe to the channel for more videos on Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, leave a comment in the comments box below letting me know what you think, any suggestions you might have. Have you had problems with the photogrammetry in New York City? Do let me know. Or have you had issues, other bugs with Microsoft Flight Simulator, for example, taking 3 or 4 attempts to load up? If so, also let me know, and if you have any solutions, I would very much appreciate those too. If you can do so, please do consider supporting me on Patreon, link in the description box below, as are links to my social media and Discord server. That is all from me. I do have a plan for the next video, but I shall see if it comes into fruition, because as I said, I have no idea how the loading is going to work in this game. But I do have a plan for the next video. It should be a fairly good video, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Thank you very much once again. Wait a minute, is that a missing terminal? Hello? I do need to just see this. That plane looks abnormally high up as well. Okay, so people of LaGuardia, is this where you park your spare jetways? I think this is where they park the spare jetways. Yeah, that must be it. Wait a minute, why am I bouncing around like this? That's weird. It must be. Yes. Please tell me, people of LaGuardia, is this where you park your spare jetways? And then you just bring them up to the terminal when you need to? Oh dear, oh dear. Well, that is all from me, and I shall see you next time in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. Surely this has to be something, right? This has to be a bug.